Thursday morning, Longshore and McKnight, presented by Bud Light. Easy to drink, easy to enjoy. So glad you are with us. Barry and I are together at the Montgomery Regional Airport, getting better the more you use it.
It is just daybreak here.
Yep.
The sun is just peeking out over the extremely adjacent parking lot here. My car's right there. I think John's right over there. Anybody park right over there? And they have already done some business here. People coming in and out, going through to each one of the gate or each one of the check-in points and everything, heading to the gates. This is the way to go.
Well, John. It is. You're right about that, Barry. They call it the early push. And that's the early morning push that gets the planes and the passengers out to Atlanta, Charlotte, and to Dallas-Fort Worth. And those flights, well, the Charlotte flight is actually just boarding. They just announced if you're not in the jetway, you're going to get left.
That's right. They're on time and everything. Now, the vibe, the energy for the early push is a lot more positive than the vibe from what you've described in the past as a late push. When you really, come on.
Yeah.
So different things altogether, am I right?
Well, no doubt about it, Barry. And I know Alabama and Auburn basketball fans were happy last night because there was no pushing going on.
Except maybe
under the bucket in the paint. Because
not like Church League, but it's still pretty stout.
Both Alabama and Auburn won and covered their games last night on the road.
Auburn, good start, funky start. Janai Broome wasn't shooting it well early. He got energized, I'll say. And Auburn ends up winning against LSU on the road. Final score there was 87-74. The line was 12.5.
Yes, it was.
Just saying. Alabama, a winner at Mississippi State, 88-84. Mark Sears played great. In case that's what everybody was waiting for, to find it. He played really well, had a lot of minutes. Most importantly, two things about the Alabama game. Number one, Alabama wins it. Number two, Mama is happy.
Mama's happy.
You're right about key for just about any social aspect.
Yes.
Making Mama happy.
Making Mama happy. And it was a big win on the road. Tight game. I mean, there were times that both teams had the lead multiple times during the game. But I think any coach in this league will tell you, if you win on the road, then everybody's pretty happy about that. As I watch both those games, Barry, and I've talked a lot about this throughout the season, trying to find a word or a term that differentiates these two teams. Well, Auburn and Alabama, what's different about them? And as I watch both the games, to me, and as watching them through the season, the one word that came to mind was dominating. To me, Auburn's more of a dominating team. They can smother you. They can turn the lights out early. Alabama seems to have to work harder at it.
Auburn is defensively, I think, more comfortable in the half-court defense than Alabama is. Alabama just runs and runs and runs. They are much more concerned about full court. Auburn will lock you down in the half-court. Auburn's good in the full court as well, but that's just, to me, a little bit of a different thing. Both of them are accomplished offensively. I mean, really, really good offensively, but the tone, I think that's the difference. And it's not necessarily that one is better, although, that's not the point I'm making, although I do think Auburn's better defensively. It's just that if somebody wants to get into a half-court offense against Alabama and just walk it up court, limit possessions and everything, Alabama's not going to stand for that. They want to get it moving. They want to get it going. They want to be at 94 feet. They want to run and gun and all that. If you want to run up into a half-court set against Auburn, Auburn is fine with that. Yeah, they will lock you down. They'll physically. I think Auburn's more physical. I think is the easiest adjective to use. But both of them are really, really good.
Yeah, they just something about this Alabama team that you kind of go, maybe leaking a little oil here or just maybe not at the top of their game. I don't know if I've seen Auburn play yet, even in their loss to Duke, where they've been in every game. I mean, Alabama's played some games you're kind of going, oh, certainly Alabama's got a few more losses than Auburn does, but even in some of the games that they've won in which they've struggled to win. I mean, last night was a rock fight, but they went on the road and won it. There again, that's that word that stuck to me, dominating. And to me, Auburn's more of a dominating team than Alabama. As we end up January, get into February, by March, maybe Alabama's is just as dominant by that time when it counts the most. But that's kind of what I saw. You mentioned Mark Sears, great game, bounced back after a couple of good days of practices. Reports from up in Tuscaloosa tell us that was the case. But what about Chris Youngblood last night? There again with this Alabama team, somebody seems to be just stepping up. So maybe a new face or a guy that you hadn't heard that much about. Heard a lot about Youngblood, but man, last night might have been his best night of the year.
I don't think there was a better one. 30 minutes, 23 points to lead the Tide. Sears played 36. Nobody else on the entire team played more minutes than Sears. And Sears had 17, very solid, along with 9 assists. He almost had a double-double. But Youngblood, the kid can play. He's got quite the future as well. But, John Dent says, contrary to many Aubs and their sour grapes, Aiden Holloway seems to be working out nicely at this point. RTR.
It's fit. It's all about fit.
I don't know about sour grapes. I mean, he got Auburn. It's not like Auburn's missing him or something.
Yeah.
It's not like Auburn saying, golly, can you imagine how good we could be if we still had Aiden Holloway on our team? We might be number one. Well, they're already number one, John. I kind of agree with Theotis on this one. Theotis says, we're number one in the country. What's sour grapes?
Yeah.
And it is fit. I mean, he is more of a full court person. I mean, running and all that kind of stuff. And he even admitted it. He said, what's the difference between, the way he's playing now and the way he was playing in Auburn? He says, well, I'm a little freer to play now.
Well, and I think you're going to see more of this. I mean, you're not going to see it every year where a player from Auburn or Alabama is going to the other school, but I don't think this is the last time we're going to see it. Basketball and football.
Yeah.
I mean, I think you're going to see players that are at one of these schools going to say, maybe I've got a better opportunity here. That would have not been the case 5, 10, 15, 30 years ago, but it's certainly the case now. And that's just the world in which we live in. The jersey colors don't seem to maybe mean as much as they did back in our day.
Yeah, maybe not. Alabama is now 18-3. They're asking on the chat line, and hey, welcome to everybody on the chat line. Glad to hear this here. We are into the second half of the SEC schedule. I think, I'm not going to count it up live on the air, but
I think you're about right.
There's 9 games left, maybe 10 in the SEC, but we are getting into the second half of the conference schedule. It's the same thing in the Sun Belt. Troy plays tonight against Georgia Southern. There have been 9 games played in the league. There are 9 games left. So pretty much everybody is looking at the second half of the season. What does that mean? Well, it gives you an idea for some of the people who are football centric that deal with this a whole lot longer. We'll get to football again, but also it means, like, for instance, Auburn will play Ole Miss, Alabama will play Georgia. You're starting to see these teams again. There's not going to be many surprises. There's not any real coaching secrets once you get into the second half of the league, because everybody has either played everybody else or everybody has seen a ton of tape to prepare for everybody else.
Yeah, and I was looking at both Auburn and Alabama's schedule before the game last night. Alabama's hosting Georgia Saturday night, but Arkansas, a team that's kind of, not had the year that they wanted to under Cal so far. Texas really hadn't been that much. And that big one on the 15th of February is they host Auburn in an afternoon matchup on a Saturday. I believe it is a Saturday, February the 15th. Missouri, they've been kind of hot and cold. They've had some good games, so kind of like their football team. Kentucky can't figure out. They're hosting Kentucky, Mississippi State again that they're hosting. They're got to go to Tennessee, hosting Florida, and of course they're at Auburn to wrap up the remainder of the regular season. So to me, that's a very manageable schedule for Alabama as they move forward. I think Auburn, same type case. There again, you mentioned they're going to see some of these teams again that they've already seen already. Ole Miss, Auburn is at Ole Miss, back-to-back road games. They were in Baton Rouge last night. They're in Oxford on Saturday. And there again, to me, Ole Miss is one of these kind of teams that you better watch out. Kind of like Mississippi State. They're no cakewalk. You got to watch out for them. The game's in Oxford. Oklahoma, Florida, Vandy, at Alabama, Arkansas, Georgia, Ole Miss, at Kentucky, at A&M, and then, of course, finishing up with Alabama at home at Neville Arena. So I think both these schedules, Barry, for the remainder of the regular season, very, how should I put it, manageable? Is that a nice way to put it? I don't want to say it's easy or hard. It's manageable.
Yes. As John used to bring up in football many times, I think Auburn is going to be a favorite.
I believe so.
In every game they play the rest of the year. John from Wetumpka on the chat line, and it may be a question that we revisit in February. John says, I'm starting to think that Janai Broome may be the best Auburn player of all time. Yes, I'm aware of Charles Barkley, Chris Porter, who's one of John's personal favorites.
Love that guy. What he did with Western Union, unbelievable.
Yeah.
Oh.
At the Kroger, at the corner of Glenn and Dean, Jabari Smith, John Mengeld, Eddie Johnson.
Mitch Kupchak? No, he wasn't. He wasn't
an Auburn. You're talking about Stan Petcavage.
Yes. Stan Petcavage. Come on, John, you got to throw him in there.
Yeah, what about, we can go on. We can talk about a lot of the others.
Stan Petcavage.
Oh my gosh, what's the kid from a couple of years ago? The one and done kid, the guard. I cannot think of his name.
It'll come to you. Yeah. John, we asked this question earlier in the week to Brian Matthews. Is Janai Broome better than Charles Barkley? I don't know.
Sharif Cooper.
Sharif Cooper.
Anyway, yeah, that's the guy I'm thinking of. Yes.
Who else there was? Who else went to that Bible college with Chris?
Mucci who played in the NBA with the Houston Rockets for a long time.
Yeah. John, don't forget about Chuck Person. He was a pretty good player too. Now, I know he had some issues after his time at Auburn, but hey, you got to throw Chuck in it. The rifleman. Can't forget about him. Come on.
There are right now two odds-on favorites, still with a month and a half to go, for player of the year in college basketball. And he is one of them. The other one is Cooper Flagg, the freshman from Duke. Flagg is the better NBA prospect, I'll tell you that, because he ain't but 18 years old. Janai is, 23 or something like that. And, Flagg has got a huge upside, although Broome will play in the NBA. But
do they present that award after the season? Is it before the tournament? I'm trying to think. It
is
kind of like the Heisman.
It is after the NCAA tournament, I believe.
Yeah.
And there's the AP Player of the Year, there's John Wooden Award, and all that kind of stuff. But the best player in Auburn history. That's an interesting. I'm going to have to noodle on that.
Yeah, I got the noodle. I think there's no doubt Charles Barkley is the most recognizable former Auburn player. Of course, he's on about every TV commercial you can think of. I'm so tired of hearing him on Subway. I just don't know what to do. Never won an NBA title. What Auburn players won an NBA title? How about that? Well, that's I know that's maybe not fair, but has there been an Auburn player that's won an NBA title?
Well, John Dent, he must have, not had his coffee yet or something. He is coming out salty here.
John,
I'm agreeing with my partial Aub brethren. I'm just saying Aiden Holloway. I didn't say Aiden Holloway is bad. I don't see there's any sour grapes. Auburn's number one in the country. I'm just saying they're not missing him right now. I'm not saying I think he is playing better at Alabama.
Bryce Brown, Barry, Auburn's all-time three-point leader.
Yeah, Daniel says that. The NCAA changed the three-point line after the 2019 season. John says, before you elevate Broom at the level you've expressed, not so fast, my friend. Let's see how he does in the NBA. Forget that. Forget that. We're not talking about best Auburn player to play in the NBA, John. We're talking about the best guy ever at Auburn. Barkley was terrific. SEC Player of the Year. There's been a couple of those. What he does in the NBA, that's like, it always drives me crazy when people talk about Heisman. That guy wasn't any good. He flamed out in the NFL. Well, so what? He was really, really good in college, which is what we're talking about. Look at the best quarterbacks in the NFL. Where do they come from? Wyoming, Texas,
Eastern Illinois.
Those guys may not have had a great college career, but they're great in the NFL. There are guys in the NBA who never played college ball. It's an entirely different subject altogether.
It is altogether. You're right. I got to go with Barkley, Barry. I'm trying to run them all through my brain. There were some good ones. Chuck Person was good. Wesley Persons was good.
Yeah.
Eddie Johnson played for the Atlanta Hawks. I don't think they won an NBA title.
No. I can't think of one.
I can't either.
Somebody can probably.
There's got to be somebody that maybe a sixth man, maybe a guy that we're not thinking about that didn't get a lot of playing time but was on the team and they won an NBA title.
That's not coming to me.
It is not coming to me either.
Google during the break.
I know we all think of Big Shot Bob with the Lakers for Alabama, but he comes to mind first and foremost. I'm sure there were others.
He's won like 5,
but I can't think of any others as well.
Yeah. Well, we are live at the Montgomery Regional Airport. We're in the terminal here.
Right here.
Looking right at the American counter, Delta counter. Over there to the left is our buddy Chris at the Hertz counter.
Yeah.
Everything's just so upstairs is TSA. John, everything is so convenient. I don't know if anybody has ever seen John come through the Montgomery Regional Airport and not stop at that coffee house over there.
Oh, sure, the new Dunkin'.
Yep.
Oh, yes.
I'm telling you, everything is right here.
It is right here, and I'd love some of that Dunkin' coffee right now, but you got to go through TSA to get it.
Mm-hmm. Or you can cast a few hints and they can
bring it to me. Exactly. But, the Dunkin' shop is open all day, so if you want to get a cup of coffee or a quick bite, it's there for you. If you got a late afternoon flight, you can handle that. Runway 28, if you want a cold pop, a Bud Light before you leave, which I did about 2 weeks ago before I left to go out to California. So, what about a nice cold Bud Light before we board? Why not? Right there in the gate area, it was awesome. Got great sandwiches there too, Barry. If you're hungry and want something a little bit heartier like a club sandwich or a hamburger, they got that for you. We're at the Montgomery Regional Airport, getting better the more you use it. And based on the numbers we've seen, you are using it. So good for you, traveling public out there. Fly MGM.
Yes, we've got a lot today. Jason Caldwell, auburnundercover.com. Lots of things to preview. It's in association with Yellowhammer News, Longshore and McKnight, presented by Bud Light.
Hey, folks, let's start 2025 off on the right foot at Stivers Ford in Montgomery, where you can get a 2024 Ford Bronco up to $10,000 off MSRP as low as $34,990. What about the popular Ford Escape? Well, you can get one as low as $24,990 and 1.9% APR for 66 months. The Ford Explorer is what started the SUV craze back in the early 80s, and it's still going strong today. You can save up to $8,000 off MSRP as low as $33,990 and 1.9% APR for 66 months. But I know what you're asking me. John, what about the popular F-150, America's best-selling pickup for over 50 years in a row? Well, you can get a 2024 F-150 Crew Cab at 1.9% APR for 60 months or up to $15,000 off MSRP, plus no payments for 90 days. And they've got plenty to choose from. I've never seen as many cars and trucks on the ground at Stivers as they've got there today. Go by and see for yourself. 4000 Eastern Boulevard, Stivers Ford in Montgomery, where Price sells cars and trucks.
In sports, if you think joy only happens after you win, Think again.
That
Look at
was
the world's
crazy.
most successful athletes like Serena Williams, Brooks Koepka, and Alex Morgan. They don't spend all their days grinding away. They take time to enjoy themselves, like getting together with friends over a Michelob Ultra, because they know that happiness is the key to winning, and that joy is the whole game, not just the end game. Michelob Ultra. 95 calories, 2.6 grams of carbs. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Enjoy responsibly. AB Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Don't miss your chance to win big at Victoryland Casino. Play the latest, hottest, most exciting games around with fun bonuses and big jackpots. Don't miss out on your free play. Stop by Player Rewards today and check out this month's exciting free play promotions. Come see why our players keep coming back. You'll have more fun at Victoryland Casino, where you can be a winner too. Victoryland Casino, located off I-85 exit 22, Shorter, Alabama. Must be 21 or older.
Okay, here we are back at it live at the Montgomery Regional Airport, getting better the more you use it. A lot of travelers coming through the airport today, heading out and about on their travels, and we highly recommend it. Barry and I use the Montgomery Regional Airport every opportunity that we get because it's convenient, it's easy, and when you return, Barry, you're back home. That's the key for me. I'm home when I get back to MGM.
Yes, that's the best part about it. You're not having to deal with traffic in Noonan or, maybe a stalled semi in LaGrange or something like that. You are here. Interesting question here from Ty. John and Barry, has the tragic crash at Reagan Airport last night delayed any flights from Montgomery? Praying for all the families involved. Montgomery flies to Reagan.
Yeah, they certainly do.
But
no, to answer that question, no. I mean,
good.
all the flights this morning have departed on schedule to Dallas, to Charlotte, and to Atlanta. The flight to D.C. is later in the day. But, Barry, I was listening on the radio coming out this morning. Still can't figure out what happened there because that's a very restricted area. When you're flying into Reagan, you cannot fly over the city of D.C. As you're flying in. You're kind of weaving down the Potomac before you get to the runway there at Reagan National. There are a lot of helicopters that fly around D.C., military helicopters, and why this was going on in an area like D.C. where air traffic is so tight and congested, I don't get that. And allegedly there was no lights. They were doing some type of military operation, but there again, why in the world they were doing it there, I think will be interesting to find out later today.
We certainly are praying for them and, hopeful that we'll get to the bottom of some of that as well. Last night in SEC basketball.
Well, how about this, Barry? We had a good question on our Marguerite's Exquisite Jewelry email inbox. And I thought this was a good one. Our man Rex, what are your thoughts about Richard Hendricks? He did the color commentary for the broadcast last night, former Alabama player.
Yeah, last night's game was SEC Network. Both games were SEC Network. It was an Auburn-Alabama doubleheader. And I've watched, of course, he was a really good player. I actually called a couple of his games. Really good player. He's like 6'9", really good around the basket. And he got started with ESPN Plus, working with Roger Hoover on some of the games, women's basketball as well and all that. Some of the early games. This is years ago. And I remember watching him thinking, he's really smart. He's poised behind the camera. I'd be interested to watch. There's a lot of guys that look at it and think, this guy's all right. Not surprised. He's seen his role get bigger. He's done several SEC Network games. To Rex's point, he said that's the first time he's watched an entire game with Richard Hendricks doing the color commentary. I think he's fabulous. I think he's outstanding. He's smart. He's got a presence in front of the camera. He knows what the play-by-play guy needs and everything like that. I wouldn't be surprised to see him doing more and more national games. Yeah, I think he is a riser in the profession. Just really good. I do too. I've been impressed. There are a couple of new guys on the SEC Network broadcast
that I've enjoyed. Some I'm trying to figure out who they are, maybe some of their styles, but I guess more of the analyst type. There's another guy, and his name is escaping me, that does some color analyst work as well for the network that I think is really good. And you know me, I kind of like a little spicy analyst, kind of. I don't want to go John Madden on you, but I kind of like these analysts that are a little, I don't know, more outside the box.
A little salty. Richard Hendricks is very solid. He's funny. He'll bring a couple of things here and there, but he's not like a live wire.
Yeah.
I can't remember the game I watched a couple of weeks ago with Ron Slay, who used to play at Tennessee. Sounds a little bit like Tone Loke, and
he does a lot of studio work too.
He's done studio work with our guy Fish. And he does a good job. He's what John's talking about. The game that I saw him, the one game that I watched him from beginning to end, he's a talker now.
Yes, he is.
If you are his play-by-play compadre, you can take a little time off because he's going to spend a lot of it top of his head, and like I said, he's I got a little. He's going to have a little something for him there, that I like that stuff. I do. All I'm saying is that it's a different style from somebody like Richard Hendricks, but there's nothing wrong with that. I like a little variety in my broadcast.
I do too, and Rex really appreciate the question.
It is a good question.
You can submit a question via our chat line that is up and running right now, or you can send us an email, longshoreamignite@gmail.com, into our Marguerite's Exquisite Jewelry email inbox. So we really appreciate those comments as well. Auburn and Alabama weren't the only teams playing last night in the SEC. Texas and Ole Miss were playing last night as well. And what's up with the Texas basketball program? They've just put all their chips in on football?
No, they've got plenty of NIL for basketball. I think I've told you before. One of their assistant coaches, his name is Byron Jones.
Yeah.
He used to be an assistant at Troy. Texas hired him from Troy about 2 years ago.
I'd say that name sounds familiar.
And he's on that staff, and I'm rooting for Texas, and I watch them every chance I get. Their head coach, though, Rodney Terry, after they got rid of Chris Beard because of some allegations and stuff, he's now at Ole Miss. This one was kind of a spicy one because Beard didn't agree with how they heave-hoed him at Texas because his fiance made some allegations and then recanted and all this kind of stuff. Anyway, so he was back in Oxford, and he beat Texas. That had to be pretty sweet for Chris Beard. Rodney Terry's in a little hot water. Longhorns are 14-7. And even if it's basketball, John, they figure if they're not competing for championships, then it's about time to fire the coach. And they're not competing for a championship.
I kind of like that mentality. It's a tough world out there.
Yeah.
And if you're not winning championships, you got to move on, whether it's basketball or football. And, of course, in our neck of the woods, Barry, everybody's wondering, well, how long before Kalen DeBoer wins a championship? Yeah, I know. How do I transition into Kalen DeBoer? But you mentioned championships. The light went off, and I went, well, it's time to turn the page to year 2 and start thinking about when do I need to call Total Sports Travel and book my flight for the national championship game?
And Auburn fans, you're probably wondering the same thing. When are we going to start getting in early on those college football playoff
Now, what was
road venues?
How many years was it between 1957 and 2010? That's about
1990, 2004 and 1992.
Well, we're talking about winning, winning the Natty. It seems like it
43.
Yeah. Seems
53
like
years.
53 years. Seemed like it's spaced out a little bit further. But hey, I get you. They've expanded the playoffs.
So when you and I are doing this show in 2063, we can say, hey, it's about that time.
It's about that
According
time.
to John.
Get ready.
Obviously, nobody playing tonight in the SEC. Everybody's getting ready for Saturday. There is basketball tonight. and some pretty good basketball tonight. Number 18, Illinois at Nebraska. Number 16, Oregon at UCLA. Those are Big Ten games these days. But yeah, this weekend in the of course, Troy plays tonight. They've got Georgia Southern coming in. Former Alabama assistant coach Charlie Henry is leading Georgia Southern in 6 o'clock start time for that one. That's on ESPN Plus. Auburn will go to Ole Miss on Saturday. That's ESPN, 1 o'clock in the afternoon, feature game. Ole Miss pretty good, and they're playing at home. Is this a trap for the Auburn Tigers? It's at least something worth conversing about.
Very second game, road game. You know, you always talk about that. I look at that in football terms, particularly in the NFL. You're playing your second road game. That can certainly put a little wear and tear on your team. But Auburn's going to lose a game somewhere, you know, late buzzer beater or whatever. Ole Miss is a pretty good team. Playing them over there on a Saturday. Place will be packed. You call it the Tad over there?
No, not anymore.
Not anymore.
No, it's the Pavilion now. It's no longer the Tad Smith Coliseum. It's no longer the Tad Pad.
Tad Pad.
It's the Pavilion.
Pavilion. I like that. That's kind of a, hoity-toity kind of name. So I'm thinking, you know, that might that's going to be a tough one. I'm looking forward to watching it. But I mentioned this earlier in the week, and somebody texted this to me. To close out the season, Alabama faces what could be one of the toughest 7-game stretches in college basketball history.
History.
Man, they played number 1 Auburn at home. They're at number 22 Missouri, host number 9 Kentucky. They host number 14 Mississippi State. They're at number 6 Tennessee, host number 5 Florida, and at number 1 Auburn. Man,
that's the SEC.
That I wonder what that record of that 7-game stretch might be. That's a toughie. That's a tough
Kentucky, one. Mississippi State, Tennessee, Florida, Auburn. Yeah, man.
And before we go to break, and Jason, I believe Jason Caldwell's joining today. I know he was in Baton Rouge last night, Barry.
Yeah.
And I know he's in transit, so he might be joining us in transit this morning. But as I mentioned earlier today about dominating, you know, I'm trying to differentiate Auburn and Alabama basketball. To me, Auburn dominates you, smothers you, never seems to be uncomfortable. But what we've seen so far, and I know we got a whole other month to go, but I've seen some of these bracketologist guys out there say, oh, Alabama's the number 1 seed. Source Auburn's going to be a number 1 seed. Both teams number 1 seed.
Weird, yes.
Do you see Alabama as a number 1 seed today?
I do.
I don't.
I do.
I just don't. Maybe I need to watch more basketball. Maybe I need to see other teams. When Bart Heiss sends me these texts at 10:30 at night and says, check out Nevada Reno against Cal State Fullerton, maybe I need to start paying attention.
Well, I mean, you're not talking about it in a vacuum. Alabama as Alabama, you know, you're looking at everybody else as well in the top 25. So, you know, the teams that are really good that you're looking at as potential top seed, heck, Florida's number 5. Iowa State is number 3. Auburn won in an absolute dogfight them. Why not them? You know, it's Duke, of course, number 2. To me, those are the 4. You know, those are the 4 number 1 seeds: Iowa State, Duke, Auburn, and Alabama. I think Alabama belongs in that.
All right.
Now, there is, as you pointed out, there is a lot of basketball between now and then. But right now, compared to everybody else, Alabama's sitting pretty good.
In those 7 games I just mentioned, let's just say they win 4 of the 7. So that'll end up, I think, they'll end up 6 losses if that happens. I think they got 3 losses at the moment.
Correct.
Can a number 1 seed have 6 losses?
In that league, they can. And they're looking at the net ranking, and they're looking at Ken Pom and quality wins. Alabama's got some quality wins. Iowa State's got 3 losses. What did we say? Duke's got 2. Auburn's got 1.
Gern, write this down. On the 30th day of January, and this is subject to change.
Of course it is.
But as of this day, 30th of January, I'm saying Alabama is going to be a 2 seed. I just do not see them as a 1 seed as of today. Now, if they go through this 7-game stretch and they win 6 of 7, win them all, whatever, oh, yeah, they're definitely a 1. But I'm just not seeing it right now.
When we come back, either Jason Caldwell, depending on his travel situation on the roadways of
there are many cell towers on I-12. Doesn't 12 connect to 10?
Yeah, and then take you over to Mobile and then up 65.
Over there by Hammond, Louisiana?
There you go. Home of southeastern Louisiana. Either him or, if not Jason Caldwell, we're going to spin the wheel.
Yes. Chris, get ready.
From the Montgomery Regional Airport in association with Yellowhammer News, it's Longshore and McKnight, presented by Bud Light.
Why Hands? At Hands Heating and Air, you get this area's highest ranked service provider with 24-hour repair service, no overtime charges, and their same-day service guarantee. Plus, instead of other companies' 30-day repair warranty, Hands gives you a 3-year repair warranty. Hands Heating and Air is here for you 24/7, 365. And service is not just something they do, it's their way of operating, for you in mind. All of Hands employees are trained to adhere to this standard. They work hard to ensure that this standard is maintained, and they are constantly looking for new ways to better serve you. Call Hands Heating and Air today at 508-5382. That's 508-5382, or find them on the web at 834hands.com.
Some days you hit snooze, but not today. Today, you have to go on a run to get burgers for the tailgate. You've got to haul something heavy, a cooler stocked with Bud Light. When you've got beer and football, nothing is hard. Until the other team scores. Bud Light. Easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Enjoy responsibly. 21 plus, copyright 2024, Anheuser-Busch, Bud Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Book tee time sooner. Save on every round. That's what you get with the 2025 RTJ Trail Card. Destination golf is closer than you might think. Buy a 2025 Trail Card and save every time you play. Plus, you will be automatically entered into the Trails Loyalty Program. Enjoy 10-day advance reservation privileges at each location. 11-day advanced internet tee times on rtjgolf.com and the RTJ app. Enjoy the benefits of a 2025 Trail Card. It makes for a great stocking stuffer, and you save on every round you play in 2025 on the Robert Trent Jones Golf Trail.
Back at it here on this Thursday morning. We're live at the Montgomery Regional Airport, getting better the more you use it. You can check it all out at flymgm.com. Great fares, the scheduling, all the news that you need to know about what's happening at your Montgomery Regional Airport. And Barry, you mentioned, of course, parking just a few short steps away from the terminal, so you don't have to deal with long lines and shuttle buses and all that type stuff and remote lots 4 or 5 miles away from the terminal check-in. You are right here. And, of course, they have covered walkways if it's raining or whatnot. And you come in, you can use the kiosk, or you can go up to the ticket counters, quick check-in. You know, Barry, I'm a big guy about checking in on my app on my phone.
Look at you.
Yeah, so I go ahead and pre-check
I would have figured you're the guy that, brings the ticket or checks in, gets your ticket, waits in line and all that.
So if I'm carrying on, which I do try to do a lot of carry-on stuff, I just go straight up the escalator and go through TSA, I never have to come to the counter because I've already pre-checked in on my phone. You know, I got a TSA pre-check, zip right through. It is so easy. But even if you are checking baggage, it's so easy. Not a problem. I mentioned a couple of weeks ago, was out in California with some buddies of mine. There were 6 of us that left the MGM. We all had golf clubs. Boom, no problem. Got those whisked in through the baggage area, and it went seamless. And so it's a great way to travel. There's so many convenient connections that you can get to points all over the globe, from Dallas, Charlotte, Atlanta, or Washington, Reagan. And, of course, Barry, we talk about it so much. You've been traveling, whether it's on business or whether it's for on leisure. You're tired. You've been out. You've been blowing and going for a couple of days, maybe a week or so. and you're ready to get home and get in your own bed, you don't want to get in a shuttle van and take you halfway to College Park outside of Hartsfield, and then you got to, where did I park? What row was I on? 74 or 64?
Where is it?
Yeah. Where's that car? Huh. And then you go, you're looking for
your car is just about in Mableton. It feels like.
That's right. And then you get to the checkout area. You go through the little thing where you hand the lady your ticket. Oh, that'll be $174. What? That's outrageous. And she probably looks at us and goes, yeah, it is outrageous, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then
you ain't leaving without, you know.
Then you got to get on 85. And then what happens? Boom. You merge on 85, parking lot, traffic jam. Can't go anywhere.
And I know they're virtual right now, but who has the coldest, deadest set of eyes?
Huh.
Your man or parking lot attendant at Jackson Hartsfield International Airport? She looks at you down there and she's like, no emotion.
Yeah.
I mean, she's like, move it along.
Yep.
Got people behind you.
That's right.
You're going to pay the 160.
Yeah. And she doesn't really,
sob story.
Yeah. And making change? No way. You better have a credit card or exact change. We're not making change out here. That ain't happening. So, folks, the convenient aspect of it. I know this is what people say to us a lot, Barry. Well, it costs more. Well, okay. Times it does. But, you know, time.
I've heard you say that before.
Yeah. Time is money.
Mm-hmm.
And so is it worth your time to save a couple of bucks to, there again, the hassle of driving to Atlanta, got to pay for that fuel.
Mm-hmm.
And then there again, construction delays, traffic delays, all things of that nature. And then there again, parking 4 or 5 miles away in a remote lot. You got to get your bags and wait for that shuttle van. You think that that man's going to help you get that bag in that shuttle van? You got to deal with it on your own, and you better be quick. They don't have time for you to be, oh, it's so heavy. Too bad. No. You better get it on the van or they're leaving you. Then they basically throw you off at curbside check-in. And then then the line's long. You go inside, the line's even longer. And you're having to deal with all that. Then you're thinking, wow, I finally checked in. I finally got my bag done. You go around the corner to TSA. That line is to Hogansville. Woo! You're thinking, I'm not going to make my flight because this line is so long.
Part of it is because people wait till the last minute.
Yep.
Part of it is because that one lady, maybe she's 83, 84.
Yeah.
The guy up at the front with the bulletproof glasses saying, ticket and ID. That's when she starts looking in her mammoth purse.
Yeah.
Well, hang on, it's in here somewhere. I didn't, no, ma'am, that's your Costco card.
Yeah.
Oh, hang on, no. And your ticket too.
Yep.
Oh my, did I not give you my ticket? Well, hang on. Oh,
come on, you don't want to deal with that.
You want to come here. Your car is parked right there. You zip out. You go right across here. You head there. You get in your vehicle, you're on the road.
So simple. Home. You are. It is that simple. Coming back, even more convenient. So check it out. And there again, Barry, I check these fares. I like to do that and see what the differences really are. And folks, they're not. There are a lot of times I can get a flight out of MGM at the same price or even cheaper than going out of Atlanta. Plus, there again, you're not using and factoring in all of that, additional costs that I don't think people really think about. All they look about, they see the price at the website. Oh, that's it, I'm in.
Yeah.
And then they factor it all in after it's all said and done and go, wait a minute.
5 hours on the road. How much is 5 hours of your time worth?
Yeah.
Think about it that way. Time is money, like John said. FlyMGM.com. Check it out. All of the information you need on all flights. Regional airport. Now, John, I don't know what you want from me. You said, well, other talk shows. Believe it or not, Barry, you're not the only talk show host about Aiden Holloway. I'm perfectly at peace with Aiden Holloway. I don't know what sets you off there. I think he's having a good year. I'm rooting for the kid.
Yep.
If you're bringing up other talk show hosts, I don't know.
What did they say?
Them.
Yeah. What did they say?
That they're sour grapes. But you're on our show.
Yeah.
And you're talking to us. I'm just telling you, I'm not seeing any sour grapes from Auburn people because they're number one in the country. Now, if I'm wrong, or if you're angry at me for saying that, or I'm dissing Aiden Holloway, that kid's a great player. I don't know what you want.
Can you give us some examples of what people are saying? I've heard zero backlash.
None.
About Aiden Holloway.
Right.
I mean, I know he's been a good player at Alabama. Maybe didn't, do what he wanted to do while he was at Auburn. But, folks, you're going to hear more of this. This is not this big of a deal.
He ain't the Lone Ranger.
In this day and age. I mean, I know there again, 30 years ago, this would have never happened. But now it's a new era. This is just another example, not only of NIL, but transfers whenever you want, that you're going to have guys transfer from Auburn to Alabama and vice versa.
Yeah.
Did anybody get all hot and bothered when Bill Oliver went to Auburn? I mean, coaches have done it. Why can't players do it? I just don't see the big deal here.
Were Alabama fans ticked off when Corey Grant out of Opelika, Alabama, transferred from Alabama to Auburn? Now, it's a little different when Auburn Hall of Famer and Olympic champion Harvey Glance left
he might have started
track and field coaching position at Auburn to go to Alabama because he's like an icon. I remember one lady saying, I feel so bad for him. And I said, feel bad for Harvey Glance and his gold medals and his world records and, his all that. And she says, well, and he went from Auburn to Alabama. He couldn't have liked to have done that. He couldn't have, in other words, things must have gone really, really bad for him.
I believe.
Otherwise, he wouldn't do that.
I believe, Barry, I remember we were together on the radio at the time. And when that happened, I think my comment was, how in the world did David Housel let him go? Could they not scrape up a couple extra bucks to keep a gold medal Olympian at his alma mater? But no, they let him go across the state to their biggest rival to run the track and field program.
The realist will never call James Willis again. Assistant coach at Alabama. He called him Judas Willis some people are that way. I'm just telling you, John. John says he's got his coffee and he's ready to go. I'm just telling you, I'm not hearing any backlash about that.
Barry, I hate to say this because I know this is going to rub some people the wrong way, particularly Auburn and Alabama fans. And I said this years ago, and I can still remember the guy that called, couldn't believe I said it. Kids today, that's not top of their list. I grew up dreaming of playing for Auburn. I grew up dreaming of playing for Alabama. Unfortunately, that's just not what they're thinking about. The jersey color doesn't matter. How soon am I going to play? This is what it was 20 years ago. How soon am I going to play? How often are you on TV? And how quick can I get to the NFL? Now it's how much am I getting paid? How quick am I going to play? And how soon am I going to get to the NFL?
Yeah.
So the jersey color just doesn't really seem to matter as much as it used to.
The top 6 reasons, the top 6 things. How much are you going to pay me? 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 How many guys do you send to the NFL? And how often you're on TV.
Yeah, and maybe, if things don't go my way, you're going to get your lip poked out if I leave and transfer somewhere else, because that's probably going to happen if I don't get what you're telling me you're getting me. There again, it's minor league professional football to some degree because the players have so much power. And Nick Saban didn't like that. Nick Saban wanted the power. So a lot of these basketball coaches that have left, they don't like the situation that college athletics is currently in. And they're not real happy about it. Man, there's something, and I hate to blindside you here, but I know as smart as you are, you probably know something about it.
Oh, boy, here we go.
We hear a lot about the House versus the NCAA. It's something coming up this summer.
Yes.
Where there's like $2.8 billion in this piggy bank somewhere. And from 2016 to the present, that money is going to be used to compensate collegiate athletes during that time frame.
Yes.
And then moving forward, I believe the number's like $20 million for D1 programs to use.
Yes.
Out of that $2.8 million. On the surface, it sounds pretty good to me in terms of, well, everybody's getting the same chunk of money. Do with it what you want, and we'll compensate you guys and gals that competed since 2010.
There's a lot of legal stuff involved. I do, like John, believe it'll all be rectified. It'll come about this summer. To put it in a nutshell, yeah, the most important thing, I mean, the money is going to be big. And the schools have got to figure out how they're going to handle the money. There's a friend of mine, Dr. Robert Madner, who's a professor of business and sport management at Troy, who I did a podcast with a couple of weeks ago about things like that. And we may have to have him on the air to talk about the ramifications. But the big things is that, number one, the schools will be in charge of the money rather than an NIL collective or whatever, which means there will be a cap. Not sure what it'll be, but there will be schools will be accountable for that money instead of, an NIL collective who does not have to reveal how much money they're paying certain players. I mean, if a player wants to, that's fine.
Sure.
There'll be more accountability. The schools will be in charge of it, and it will be a pretty good amount of money.
And to me, that just makes more sense. If you have the schools responsible for it, because, do we really know what's going on with the NIL now and how that's operating? I think if you have the schools responsible for it, there's more accountability for it. But I will say this, Barry, I still think you're going to have guys under the table, like back in the good old days. I mean, allegedly that didn't happen, but we all know that it did.
Really?
But to me, you're still going to, or maybe that just even opens it up even more to let some of these fat cat boosters say, well, I'm going to help my team out and give this guy $5,000 under the table.
Before anybody gets, to clutch their pearls or anything like that, John, I hear that has been the case in federal government concerning contracts awarded. There's been that type of a thing in terms of pretty much every aspect of business.
I think so.
If this is
because, that's dividing that pie up that many ways with all the different sports. Whew, I'd hate to be the guy that's in charge of that. That would be a problem.
Well, we are at the top of the hour. A couple of things we're working through. We'll take a commercial break. And when we come back, more coming on with Longshore and McKnight, presented by Bud Light. Phoenix Physical Therapy is ready to help patients recover, recharge, and rise. They develop a customized therapy plan for each patient to get them back to enjoying their favorite activities. Their experienced team is committed to providing exceptional care in a professional environment. Whether you're looking to prevent or treat an injury, recover from a recent illness, or recuperate from surgery, schedule an appointment with the clinic and take advantage of their physical therapy, athletic training, workers' comp, and employer solution services. Experience elevated physical therapy care today. Call Phoenix Physical Therapy at 239-9316. That's 239-9316.
This isn't going to work. No matter what we say, some people still drive drunk. But we're Budweiser. Giving a damn is what we do. So, if you think it's okay to drive drunk, if you think it's something that's debatable, or you just simply don't care, this Bud is not for you. Give a damn. Don't drive drunk. Enjoy responsibly. Budweiser Beer, Anheuser-Busch, St. Louis, Missouri.
Joining us now is Marianne at Marguerite's Exquisite Jewelry, 8163 Vaughn Road in Pepper Tree. And Marianne, I can see behind you, the Valentine's decorations are already set up in the store. It's never too early to start thinking about that Valentine's gift.
Exactly. Love is in the air at Marguerite's. We have lots of decorations to remind guys, I say, walk in or drive by that we are open. Valentine's Day is right around the corner, and it's never too early to think about Valentine's Day. We have beautiful pieces in all different price points, and beginning today, we're going to have cases to make it easy for guys to come in. We'll have a $199 case or a $250 or a $300, a $500, just to make it easy to shop, because Valentine's Day, again, it's right after Christmas, so guys have pretty much put on their gift thinking caps for as long as it's going to get. So we're going to make it easy for them. Just all they have to do is walk through the door, and we are fully staffed, ready to help people find the perfect gift.
And Marianne, you're open 7 days a week, so it's very convenient for our viewers and our listeners. They can drop by any day. Tell us your hours of operation.
Sure. We're open 10 to 5:30 Monday through Friday, 10 to 5 on Saturday, and noon to 5 on Sunday. So 7 days a week in the Pepper Tree Shopping Center.
Look, folks, take it from me. A Valentine's gift from Marguerite's lets her know that, you want to give her the very best. And, of course, they've got price points to really fit any budget at Marguerite's Exquisite Jewelry. They're at 8163 Vaughn Road in Pepper Tree, adjacent to Chappie's Deli. And go by and see Marianne and that great staff at Marguerite's. They will certainly make your Valentine happy. Hey, Marianne, have a great day. The store looks beautiful. We'll see you soon.
See you soon.
Thank you.
Okay, back here live at the Montgomery Regional Airport, getting better the more you use it. Longshore, presented by Bud Light, easy to drink, easy to enjoy in association with our good friends at Yellow Hammer News. Check it out at yellowhammernews.com. There's always a write-up about this show each and every day. There at yellowhammernews.com. You can watch the show there as well. Yep. So check it out.
Got a lot of people watching on Facebook, including Robert Bell on Facebook. Robert, appreciate you being with us. He says, in my opinion, if an athlete enters the NIL, he should lose his scholarship. The coaches give these guys a lot of training to get good results from their athletes. Robert, that ship has sailed.
Yeah.
I don't know who's going to win the national championship in basketball. I can't tell you who's going to be the head coach in 10 years at any of these schools, but I do know this. There's going to be NIL in the future from here on out, whatever. It's a good comment, and I appreciate your opinion. But, boy, that ship has sailed.
One thing I heard Hugh Freeze say, Barry, that I hope will gain some traction. If we are going to pay you X amount of money through the NIL, you've got to commit to us for X amount of time.
I would think it would be a contracted relationship, right? It's not just, here's all this money, hope you play well. I mean, there's got to be some commitment from the school, which is what you're talking about. But there's also got to be some commitment from the player,
no doubt,
too.
Yeah, you can't be putting all this into this guy, never knowing, well, is he going to stick around? Is he going to be here? You got to have that guarantee to some degree that, man, I'm going to be here at least a year, 2 years.
Now, we've talked with Jason Jones from TrojansTogetherCollective.com at Troy and everything. And I agree with this. What he has said and what he said from the get-go is what we hear from Tobias. He says, gentlemen, I believe NIL isn't the issue. Unlimited transfers without having to sit out is the bigger issue. Why can a guy go to 3 schools in 3 years and is immediately eligible? I've wondered about that. I know what the response is and how difficult it would be now to roll back unlimited transfers without penalty.
Yeah.
Because legally, the lawyers in a lawsuit are going to say, well, the coaches can leave. Heck, the coaches leave before the bowl season. The coaches leave before the season's over with. They can go and get paid millions. Why can't the student athletes? Well, the coaches are employees. Student athletes are not employees. There are several people who think that we're going towards a trend where the student athletes will be employees. My opinion is the student athletes, y'all don't want to be employees. I mean, you're going to have to be responsible for your own taxes. If you're an employee, you can get fired. You have kind of the best of both worlds right now. But I'm with you. I've seen guys, I've prepared for games, football, basketball. There are guys, 7th-year guys, and I've seen a couple of 8th-year guys. I don't know how that works.
Oh, it's easy.
But, well, and now that they're talking about junior college scholarships, so junior college doesn't affect NCAA eligibility, then you may have even more, like Diego Pavia.
Yeah.
But I've seen guys where, on my spotting charts, I'll put name, height, weight, hometown, and previous school. And there's some guys who have like 5 previous schools, Texas, Rio Grande Valley, and Missouri State, and Trinity Valley Community College. And I
think to make it easier on you, Barry, just put the school they last were attended before they got to where they currently are.
Yeah, but if they got kicked out somewhere, I mean,
kind of like a kid from Florida.
Well, you got, if you do it that way, and I'm calling an Auburn game, say in 2010, just to call off the top of my head.
Yeah.
Number 2, Cameron Newton.
Yeah.
6'5", 250, wherever he is from Georgia, Jonesboro, Georgia, whatever.
Yep.
Blinn Junior College.
Yes.
Doesn't that leave out a pretty good bit of the story, though?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, he's a transfer. Hey, where'd you transfer from? Blinn Junior College.
Yeah.
It was like, really? Okay, well, that's cool. They're missing something.
Well, they are, Barry, because in a situation like that, you would probably also want to say, and his father, Cecil Newton, who's sitting right there in section 207 on the 3rd row over there. Y'all know Cecil, don't you? Yeah, he's there.
Salt to the road.
Yeah,
Cecil. Yeah.
So,
salt to the earth.
Maybe there would be some cases when you would need to expand on a player's history. I would think Cam would be one of them. Me, Barry, say the two of us were in the booth together and you were doing the play-by-play, and I just kind of wanted to throw a couple of things in like, well, Barry, Christine Brennan at USA Today said he got kicked out of Florida.
And because of this laptop thing, don't really know about the laptop, something about throwing it in the dumpster or something from the 3rd floor of the dorm.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, I'll have to say, by the way, Auburn just went 3rd and 4. They converted the 3rd down, so it's 1st and 10. Ball's on the 50 now. with the, they have to catch up with all that while John's telling that.
Yeah, game's going on. But let me tell you about this article I read yesterday.
Can you believe that she has the audacity to, if I was him, I would.
Here's the way you mentioned, I thought it was a key word term. If you're an employee, you can get fired. So in college athletics, they're not going to really fire you. They're just going to put you on the bench. You're just not going to play.
Yeah.
So we got this contract. I know we got to live out our end of it. And you're not living out your end because you're not playing as good as we thought you were. So we're going to put you on the bench.
This has never happened to me or anything like that. So this is not my personal history. But I know of businesses, big businesses, that if they're trying to cut costs, they don't want to fire this guy because they don't want to pay a severance or something like that.
Yeah.
They want him to quit. So what do? Hey, we're taking away amalgamated widgets from your account, and we're giving you Ed's Fill Dirt and Car Wash over there in Lido Hatchie.
That's
you're not going to have United Plastics. Your new account will be the convenience store over there right in front of Maxwell Air Force Base.
And then you see what happens to them after that happens.
And then and then the guy says, well, I can't do that. My commissions will go down. Yeah, man. Sorry. Well, I'm going to have to. You're going to have to what? You're going to have to what? I don't see any other alternative but that I've got to give you your resignation. Is that you can do that in college? You know, hey, man, we're still bound and determined to live up to our end of the contract. Remember, you've started 4 straight games. Now you're third team.
Yeah,
and your locker is over there by the men's bathroom. Yeah. You
remember, those post games when the sideline reporter was always coming to you for an interview? Not anymore. They're not going to be talking to you anymore. They're talking to the new starting quarterback, the new starting running back. Yeah,
but that's like our
get ready to wear a hat. Make sure the microphone cord is not in my way, and learn how to signal in plays. That's what you're doing now.
Now, it's a good question here from. A good comment from our buddy Chris Parham, who's over there at the Hertz counter here. Love us some Chris. He says, sit on the bench and still collect your NIL. Yeah, you can do that.
Yes, you can.
But when it comes time for, the NFL scouts to come over, they're going to say, hey, have you got any tape? Well, I do, but it was back in, August 30th in our opening game. So you've got that to look out for.
Yeah. Robbie is up early today, Barry, with his breakdown and his recap of Bama's win in Starkville last night, and already looking ahead to Saturday's lineup.
Yep. Robbie got up at 8 o'clock this morning. He said, Alabama gets big road win over Mississippi State. Great performances by Mark Sears and Chris Youngblood. Bama outscored Mississippi State 8-4 in the last 4 minutes, which ain't a big deal.
Wow.
Bama shot 15 of 31 from three-point range. Defense was huge at the end. We talked about it. Robbie, you need to get up at 7. If you're going to come,
Robbie?
Robbie's yelling at us saying, well, you guys need to get phone lines in so I can, because that's what Robbie
Y'all need
wants.
to be on for 4 hours a day. We're on for 24 a day, Robbie. What are you
says
about?
Ole Miss has a very good chance to upset Auburn because of its defense. They're not going to be minus 29 on the boards like LSU. Tough road game for Auburn. Auburn had 29 more shots than LSU. That won't happen against Ole Miss. Yeah, that is true.
29 more
I was
shots.
looking at the numbers on that one. Auburn wins it by 13. And in that game, Auburn, it's not loading right now, but I looked. Auburn had like 74 field goal attempts. And LSU was like 46. Here we go. Yeah. Auburn shot 80 shots. Whew. LSU shot 51.
80 shots.
You figure, how does that happen? Well, Auburn out rebounded them
offensive
by
glass
14, and LSU committed 20 turnovers. So
you're not going to win that way. All right. So as I'm just thinking, as you are sharing Robbie's chat with us here this morning on the show.
Yes.
And, years ago, I mentioned to the late, great Pat Dye, Coach, I'd love to sit down with you on a Saturday and watch college football with you, just to see your reactions, your comments, the breakdown. What about spending an afternoon with Robbie, watching college basketball? How do you think that'd go over?
You'd probably be more well received by Robbie than you would whenever you brought that up
True.
to Coach Dye.
Probably so.
Coach Dye, I mean, he looked like the ticket taker at the parking lot at Hartsfield International Airport.
So,
really,
Robbie, what do you think? One Saturday afternoon, we back, watch some college basketball, and we kind of talk about it, recap it, analyze it in real time. I'd have to bring probably about a case of Bud Light with me to get it through it.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I could be kind of and come back Monday and report on it. Barry, let me tell you what happened. Let me tell you about my afternoon with Robbie.
You would have to do like Robbie did one time to Coach Blakeney. It's my favorite Robbie story. Robbie was covering Troy football practice for somebody. This is many years ago. Might have been when Robbie was still a student. And Coach Blakeney, of course, is so great. After practice, he's sitting on his golf cart, and he gets Robbie over there. And Robbie's taking notes. He says, Coach, what do you think about the big game coming up?
Yep.
And Larry says, well, I think they're awfully tough defensively. We're going to have to establish the one and I think take care of the football. And he stopped because Robbie was saying, righty, I think they have and Coach Blakeney looked at him and says, Coach, you're going to have to get a tape recorder.
But
also this.
It's a life lesson. Robbie learned.
You're sitting there and thinking, well, Auburn had 29 more shots than John. People would lose their.
Probably would.
Good question we're talking about the unlimited transfer portal.
Yeah.
And really the poster child for a lot of people about the transfer portal is Tyler Jamal Finley.
All right.
TJ Finley used to play quarterback at LSU. He's from Ponchatoula, Louisiana. 6'5", 6'7", 250.
And I got to tell you, Barry, I never knew that's what TJ stood for.
Tyler Jamal.
Did not know that.
Somebody was asking, is TJ Finley still playing? And the answer is yes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is his 6th year coming up.
All right.
I've seen players with 7 years. By the time this upcoming semester is over with, and there's nothing wrong with it, TJ Finley will have college credit hours, I think, from 5 different schools. 5 different schools.
Man.
If you can do this without looking it up, I actually had forgotten where he's at this year. If you can go in order, LSU, Auburn, Texas State, Western Kentucky, and now Tulane.
See, I was going to say
That's
Texas Southern. I don't know why Texas Southern. Is that even a school?
Yes, it is.
Yeah,
That's in
okay.
Houston.
All right.
Texas State is in San Marcos.
All right.
1 year at LSU for TJ Finley. January 2020. This is his 5th full year in school. 1 year at LSU. 2 years at Auburn. 1 year at Texas State, where he threw for about 4,000 yards.
I played Troy.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
Last year at Western Kentucky, where he only played 4 games. He's been injured a lot.
Okay.
And this year at Tulane.
Did he start?
5 years. Can you imagine what his transcript looks like?
Barry, didn't TJ Finley play against Alabama for Auburn, LSU, and Western Kentucky?
He did.
Yeah. How about that?
He did, yes.
This guy is going to be a Trivial Pursuit question
Now,
in the next edition.
On September 25th, 2021, Auburn, and I know you have to remember this because John had 4 sets of fingers crossed, 4 sets of toes crossed, which is hard to do because Auburn was about to lose at home to Georgia State.
I remember that.
Coming in on his white horse,
I remember.
TJ Finley in the 4th quarter. They benched Bo Nix. Benched him. And he came in and led Auburn late touchdown pass to snatch victory from the jaws of defeat at Jordan-Hare Stadium.
I remember that
against
game.
Georgia State.
Yeah.
That was the highlight of his 5-year, soon-to-be 5-team collegiate career.
What I remembered about that game was trying to uncross my fingers and toes, because once you cross them like that multiple times, they're cramping and they're getting all out of whack. That was a tough one. All right, when we come back, we teased it in the first hour. We are going to do it. So, Gurn, get it locked and loaded. The Victoryland 777 topic wheel. We're going to start spinning that. Bart Heisch, our resident college basketball insider, scheduled to join us in about 15 minutes. We'll get Bart's take on the game last night in Starkville and the other SEC action as well.
We are live at the Montgomery Regional Airport. In association with Yellowhammer News, it's Longshore and McKnight, presented by Bud Light.
Hey, this is Barry McKnight from Longshore and McKnight, telling you about our friends at River Region Straw. You're not buying sticks or stems and pine cones. You're buying premium long needle pine straw from River Region Straw. Kenny and his staff have access to the best pine straw in the River Region, full of color, that'll last all season long. They've got locations in Montgomery, Prattville, and Auburn, and no order is too big or too small. From a few bales to an 18-wheeler trailer load, River Region Straw also has seasoned firewood for the cold days and nights ahead. Pickup is available, and your order can be delivered if you like. They can even spread your pine straw if that's what you want to have happen, for sure. Call or text Kenny today, 669-5959. That's 669-5959 for all of your pine straw and firewood needs at River Region Straw.
Heads or tails?
2 weeks
Kick
ago, 2 weeks
or
ago today.
receive? With the wind or against the wind? Buy your friend a Bud Light. Buy a stranger a Bud Light. Go to your team's bar. Go to the opposing team's bar. Buy around during the next truck commercial. Buy around during the next talking duck commercial. If you're truly up for whatever this weekend, grab the perfect beer for whatever happens. Crisp, refreshing Bud Light. Make 2 plans and let the NFL coin toss make the call. Enjoy responsibly. Bud Light Beer, Anheuser-Busch, St. Louis, Missouri.
The Destin Connection Seafood Market offers the freshest seafood direct from the Gulf of Mexico with deliveries daily. Snapper, grouper, pompano, flounder, copia, along with medium, large, and jumbo shrimp, hand-picked crab meat, and chucked oysters. They can even cook your order for easy, quick pickup. The Destin Connection can make a po' boy with any of their seafood items that folks in New Orleans rave about. Go by and see them at 3750 Norman Bridge Road or call 288-4272 for pickup orders.
We are back at it here at the Montgomery Regional Airport, just talking to our friends at the Hertz counter. Today they came by, and when I was here, Barry, when I came in from my flight a couple of weeks ago, my man at Hertz came by and saw me and said hello. Really appreciate that. Great folks here. Whether you're renting a car, whether you're flying out on Delta or American, whether you're enjoying some Dunkin' Donuts coffee or a sandwich at Runway 28, it's great people out here. It's all about the convenience and service business. And they want to make your travel experience the absolute best. Check it all out at flymgm.com.
Chris the Bammer has been hurt before.
He's taunting us.
Chris the Bammer has said, "You guys have gotten my hopes up. You've teased me. Now he's not going to believe it until he sees it."
I'm thinking, is he taunting us here, Barry? He says, "I'll believe it when I see it." Chris, here it comes. The Victoryland 777 topic wheel is loaded up.
Yep.
Man, look at all those topics we got to get to today, so spin it.
I always thought it was Chris was saying, man, are they going to talk about Philip Marshall today? No, he didn't write anything. Oh, nope. It's the Victoryland 777 topic wheel. And the first hit is countdown.
So, Barry, this topic has been on the wheel all week long.
Casey Kasem?
We have it's yet to land on countdown. And no, it's not keep your feet on the ground and keep reaching for the stars. Not that type of countdown. John from Wetumpka likes to throw on the chat room how many days, hours, minutes, and seconds until the start of the Major League Baseball season. Now, personally, I can do without that. I mean, if you did it in years, I'd be a lot more comfortable about it. But so I guess we got to be fair and balanced here. How much longer do I have to be baseball free?
Pitchers and catchers report for there's 30 teams. Everybody reports on either the 12th or the 13th, except for one club, and that's the Chicago Cubs.
What are they doing? Are they in Japan?
See, I figured they are, but I mean, they're the only team that's reporting February the 9th, whoever they're playing in Japan, and I'll look it up later. You'd figure they'd start February 19th. Braves will open. Pitchers and catchers report February the 12th.
Okay.
The defending World Series champion Los Angeles Dodgers, they will report on the 12th. A lot of others on the 13th. So, John, that is less than 2 weeks from pitchers and catchers.
Go ahead and just let me down easy then. I don't really care about pitchers and catchers and whatever. When is the first game? Let me put that on my calendar.
Sooner or later, I would not be able to.
And I know people enjoy the spring games. I got some buddies that go down to Florida and watch a bunch of spring training games. I couldn't think of anything worse.
I love it. I mean, I've watched 100 spring training games.
Can you put the action on spring? I'm sure you can. If you put action on an exhibition NFL game,
yep,
I think you can do it.
The first game of the year will be the Dodgers and the Cubs in Tokyo.
Okay.
That'll be March 18th and 19th.
Oh,
in Tokyo.
It's getting here so soon.
I want to see it's a 3-game series. So that's the first one, March the 18th and 19th.
How much peace?
Opening day, opening day flyovers and stuff will be March the 27th.
It seems early. It's usually around Masters Week, April, early April.
It's now a little bit less than 2 months.
Oh.
And we'll be back at it for 162 games.
All right, how about this?
Bliss.
Does Trump throw out the first pitch of the game this year? Maybe the Washington.
Yeah, it's kind of traditional.
Nationals.
Yeah.
Does walking around the ballpark count as going to the ballpark? I've actually walked around where the Nationals play, but I've actually never been inside. Is that good enough? Does that count?
No.
You got to go in.
I've been to Wrigley Field, but I've never been inside. Doesn't really count. Okay.
So you got to go in. Okay. All right. So there you have it, John. There again, maybe that's a sign, though, Barry.
Okay.
Because that topic's been on the wheel all week. It took till Thursday for it to hit. What does that tell you something? Just saying.
Well, it's just luck. It's just luck. It's not karma or God doesn't want us to know when pitchers and catchers report. That's not it.
Maybe God doesn't like baseball.
God's a big baseball fan. Yeah. Because in the book of Genesis, you know what it starts with? In the big inning.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That's a baseball term.
Yeah.
God loves baseball.
Yeah, I guess he does. You're right about that. Okay. Gern, let's get that Victorland 777 topic wheel spinning yet again. Chris is at the edge of his seat going, oh boy, here it comes. The wheel is spinning, a lot of beautiful colors, and it's okay, yeah. So the biggest joke of all-star games in any sport out there.
It's the most colossal waste of time out there.
What are they doing now? Is it two-hand touch? Is it flag football? Skills competition? To me, it sounds like a bunch of guys just out there having a good time.
And for some reason, people are eating it up, and people can't get enough of it. It really starts tonight. There's a skills show. 6 o'clock tonight on ESPN. I'm not sure what the skills show is, how many times you can hit a moving target from 20 yards away.
Yeah.
If you're a quarterback, how many balls you can catch from the jugs machine in 30 seconds, stuff like that. So that's tonight. That actually begins this evening, ESPN at 6 o'clock. There is a flag football game. That will be on Sunday at 2, and it will be simulcast on ABC and ESPN.
So where's this all taking place? Orlando or something? Yeah,
Orlando.
okay.
Yes.
I don't know what's worse. This or that indoor computerized golf that was on earlier this week. Is this what sports broadcasting is coming to? I don't get it. But I wanted to get it clarified. Skills competitions, flag football games. At least they're not having tug of wars on the beach at Waikiki where somebody can blow their knee out.
Which has happened
before. That has
Robert
happened.
Edwards had his career ended because of that. Well,
so
the Pro Bowl skills show tonight, the NFL is trying their best to go all-star like the slam dunk competition at the NBA All-Star Weekend and the home run derby for the baseball All-Star. They've got 6 skills competitions tonight, and I have no idea what any of this means.
Okay.
Passing the test. Satisfying catches. The big spike, the relay race, helmet harmony, and dodgeball. Dodgeball? There's going to be some place kicker that everybody's going to gang up on. If my experience in dodgeball holds true, there's going to be some guy who, if he wiped his nose a little bit, he wouldn't catch so much crud. And all the big guys, the offensive linemen, the defensive ends, they're going to say, hey, we're on dodgeball? Really? Some guy's going to get smacked in the face with one of those rubbery Voight balls that have the little tread on it that leave the
I don't want to sound mean, Barry, but back in grammar school, we played co-ed dodgeball at PE. And I knew a guy that would always look for that male or female that was standing all the way in the back, not paying attention, chit-chatting and not into the game, going for the headshot.
Yeah.
I thought it was kind of mean, but it was sending a message like get in the game. Maybe you better keep your head on a swivel at this NFL dodgeball competition.
Again, another story, and I don't condone it at all. At Stone Middle School in Melbourne, Florida, in the gym, we played dodgeball, and I was pretty good at dodgeball, except I was tall, I was a bigger target. There was an African-American friend of mine on the other team with the sizable afro.
Yeah.
And I got him upside the head.
Yeah.
Got him upside the head. I mean, I'm what middle school age? And he dropped like a shot. And I thought, and he's wailing and everything. And I didn't know what in the world happened. So, I mean, I think this happens all the time. So, the PE teacher came over, Coach Uffner. Wow. Coach Uffner came over and was checking my buddy out and everything. What? Hey, ease up, calm down, calm down. He reached into his afro and pulled out a broken pencil. He had an afro. He had a pencil in his afro, and I had hit it, and I had broken it, and evidently it hurt. I mean, it wasn't blood or anything like that. But he had the pencil kind of.
So Barry, he's like 6 feet with the fro, 6'6".
Yeah, kind of like Fletch. Yeah. Anyway, so there's that. The actual flag football game. It was not. It's 7-on-7 flag football.
What are the linemen doing?
4 more skills competitions, including an EA Sports Madden challenge. You're going to see who's the best Madden player. You're going to watch the best football players in the world play each other in something that does not have anything to do with actual football. You've got Punt Perfect, the Great Football Race, and they're going to have a tug of war. That's what the offensive
I like the tug of war. I like that from the I like the tug of war.
Yeah.
Okay, I can handle that.
And maybe at the risk of overexposure, I hate to bring this up, the AFC coach is Peyton Manning, and the NFC coach is Eli Manning.
That's right.
Love those guys. Love them. Not an issue with them.
Are they
they're on everything.
Are they overexposed?
Goodness gracious.
All right, Gert, let's spin the wheel and see what else we got left. Bart Heiss going to join us in about 4 or 5 minutes.
Oh,
yep.
Right.
Yep. That's an interesting color combination. Light blue, green, and yellow. And it lands on House.
Oh, I thought I said Housel. Okay. Sorry.
We touched on this earlier, Barry, the House versus the NCAA. That really looks like something we're going to have to focus on and keep an eye on this summer. I think right before media days is maybe when we'll hear something, maybe in the month of June. But I think this is something that's going to be a big conversation over in Atlanta during media days.
Yeah, we addressed it. Something to look out for. It will change the game if it withholds all of those the legal battles that are coming. It'll be a game changer. We addressed
look out for that.
When we come back, Hoops Talk with our Hoops aficionado. It's Bart Heiss joining us when we continue from the Montgomery Regional Airport in association with Yellowhammer News. It's Longshore and McKnight, presented by Bud Light.
All guests of Longshore McKnight appear on the City of Montgomery guest hotline. Check out the most interesting and informed personalities in sports covering Auburn, Alabama, Troy, ASU, and all the major teams from across the country. John and Barry have the best guests brought to you by the City of Montgomery. To find out everything you need to know that is going on in the capital city, check out montgomeryal.gov. That's montgomeryal.gov, the capital of dreams.
In sports, if you think joy only happens after you win, think again. Look at the world's most successful athletes like Serena Williams, Brooks Koepka, and Alex Morgan. They don't spend all their days grinding away. They take time to enjoy themselves, like getting together with friends over a Michelob Ultra, because they know that happiness is the key to winning, and that joy is the whole game, not just the end game. Michelob Ultra. 95 calories, 2.6 grams of carbs. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Enjoy responsibly. AB Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Jim Massey's Cleaners and Laundry is an Alabama-based, family-owned and operated business that specializes in dry cleaning and laundry serving the river region since 1941. There are 12 convenient locations across the river region. Find one close to you or call 481-1911 for free pickup and delivery. For 83 years, Central Alabama has trusted Jim Massey's Cleaners and Laundry. You should too.
Okay, we're back at it here live at the Montgomery Regional Airport, Longshore and McKnight, presented by Bud Light. Easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Barry, that next wave of travelers have been passing by our broadcast location here. Got a flight heading over to Atlanta in about 45 minutes or so. And there again, so many great convenient connections, convenient times. You know, Barry, I'm a time guy. You know, so the timing's got to be right. And I like my schedules to, fit around my schedule. And there's so many flights operating out of MGM each and every day. I know there is a time of day that's convenient for you to make your connection, or even if you're just heading to one of the 4 nonstop destinations out of MGM, it's just so convenient. And of course, the time that the flights departs and arrive back.
Yes.
Make it so easy and make it so convenient.
It's so seamless and so stress-free. If you get here early enough, like, see that guy right there, John?
Yeah.
He was walking by. Obviously, he's here early. He's just bebopping around. We have so many people walking in front of us on their way to their, their check-in or, over to TSA the other way. That guy's coming around. He's got his, I noticed him. Yeah. I noticed he had his carry-on with him and everything, and walking across, checking his phone. And just a moment ago, he heard us say, "Hey, we got Bart Heiss coming up in just." He
stopped,
leaning up against that pole right there, saying, "Hang on, you got to,
He wants to.
I got time. I can deal with TSA because they're quick here at the Montgomery Regional Airport." But man, I got to catch him, Bart Heiss. Right
So,
Barry, we know Bart.
Bart joins us now in our City of Montgomery guest hotline. He was in Starkville, Mississippi last night, I believe. What? No, he was not.
No, Bart.
I thought you were in Stark Vegas last night, Bart. Tell us about it. What's up?
Man, well, first of all, tell that guy he's an elite traveler if he's got time to stop and just hang out and wait. But I do see and understand why he would, want to with the guests coming on.
Exactly.
I watched the game in Orange Beach. Had some stuff to do work-wise here, there, but I've got a game tonight, South Alabama. The ULM game is tonight here in Mobile, so I drove over. and I didn't make it. The midweek games when South is at home are difficult for me. But John, I got two things for y'all this morning. First of all
right.
I would like to say, Barry, that Mike Grace and Mike Moat said congratulations on your award and said hello and thank you. Thank y'all show for being more important than my own show, who I just left to join my normal spot on Longshore at Night. That's for you. For you, John Longshore, there will be no high tide today. There will be nothing but roll tide as the tide rolled over my dogs for about the umpteenth 37, whatever roll tide Willie says time in a row in basketball. So kudos to you. Congratulations. Heavyweight bout last night, and your basketball team responded from adversity as Nate Oates has just continuously done. So congratulations. There's my open. You guys can have your show back.
What was the difference in that game, Bart? What did it come down to?
Hard hat. I mean, it comes down to Nate Oates substituting Diabate and getting an offensive rebound. I mean, and just two plays in that game. The play that Youngblood made when Cam Matthews in the breakaway in the first half it was a steal. Cam was about to hammer it. And Youngblood, as a senior leader from Tuscaloosa, back home playing, sprints the length of the floor and fouls Cam Matthews. Cam Matthews missed both those free throws, or missed one of them for sure. There was another play that happened like that. That young kids out there, y'all are going to hear me say it all the time, like in 3 weeks. And I just got the call. I will be doing all the high school games again this year.
Awesome.
Early,
that is good news.
Yeah, you always like to get that call, though. It's kind of understood. But anyway, but young kids out there, just because something happens, whether it's you that made a mistake or your teammate, you got to go make a play. I mean, all the adversity, just those type plays. Mark Sears being so unselfish, but the shot making of Alabama has not shot the ball well. They've not been a great shooting team. They showed last night that Alabama can still score it even on the road when they need to. Big shot after big shot. You got to give it up for Roll Tide, Nate Oates, and Alabama.
Alabama wins it by a final score of 88-84. Mark Sears, I think he ended up with 17 in that game after a little kerfluffle the game before. Didn't play in the second half in the win over LSU. Mama wasn't happy. Fans were up in arms. What was that all about, Bart?
I mean, it happens, guys. I mean, this kid, I coached against him when he was at Muscle Shoals in high school. He's always had the ball in his hands. He's always played the minutes. You know, these are still kids, even though he's a mature young man, right? A lot of people don't need to realize, though, you know, this kid turned down a lot of money to come back to Alabama. You know, he's not the highest paid guard in the SEC by any means. And, you know, he could have gone as the number one, but he comes back as maybe the most storied point guard of all time, you know, college-wise at Alabama, because you took him to a Final Four. That supersedes his level to a lot of other guys, even all those pros, because of what he did for his team. His team guy, he spouted off. He said something back, you know. I'm somewhat close to the situation and know what happened. And but the way they handled it was perfectly. Mama needs to sit down. Mama needs to stop posting. I've known his dad, and I know Mom as well, but his dad is Russellville, big time guy, good family. These are good people, man. But emotions, you know, the way Mark handled it on the sideline, talking to the assistant coach being animated. You can't do those things. But at the same time, that's coming from a guy who got benched by Rick Stansberry his senior year, pouted, went to the end of the bench, and wanted to sulk and ruined my whole senior year. I didn't respond the way that you're supposed to respond from those things. Mark Sears responded by the best practice he's had Monday and Tuesday. So did their team. Just like the Brandon Miller situation, guys, Nate Oates can handle these adverse situations. And Nate Oates wasn't right here either. Now, in some of the things, the way he said this, that, two things can be correct at the same time. Nate Oates probably would have done a couple of things differently. Mark Sears would have probably done a couple of things differently. It's over. You just went on the road on a heavyweight bout and beat a team that is your rival, that is having a problem, you know, beating you, and you sustain a winning streak. I think that was a big moment for Alabama. And everybody keeps forgetting, John. I know you don't want to hear this, but Alabama is the team that went to the Final Four and is the reigning Final Four team. in this state.
Did they? Yeah, golly. Just don't ask me who the other 3 teams were in the Final Four. I seem to forget the Final Four participants every year. I can't figure it out. I got a terrible memory. All right, Bart, I dropped this on Barry earlier today. As I'm watching Auburn and Alabama both play on Saturday night at the same time. Last night, Auburn played early, then Alabama. So I got to watch both of them, two games. I'm trying to think what's different about these teams. And
Guys, I'm sorry. It's cutting in and out a little bit, John. I only heard about half that. I don't know if it's my internet
I just
or not.
mentioned
I got you now.
both Auburn and Alabama. Yeah, I was talking about watching both Auburn and Alabama, trying to see what's different. Give me one word in dominating. To me, Auburn's more dominating than Alabama.
I think Alabama's deep, but Auburn's deeper. I think just simply mainly because of the Wrightsell injury. If Wrightsell was there, you got 2 young bloods out on the perimeter that are both assassins. Like Youngblood is an assassin. You saw it last night. But to me, it's the interior. I mean, Broome and Cardwell and Chaney Johnson are the best collective group of bigs with how they can guard, how they can ball screen and roll, especially their screening capability. Auburn's big screen for the point guard really well, or the guard coming off that screen really well. And they're always in the right position to go get that lob spot. They can come from the dunker spot as well. Auburn's been doing this without Janai Broome, guys, until last night, really. Until the last 2. 24 and 13 on the road. And, dude, those buckets were easy, guys. I mean, those man, if John Longshore had been left-handed, he looked like John Longshore pirouetting over at the Montgomery Y across from Shades Valley about 20 years ago, huh, John? Maybe not 20, sorry. But
maybe not 20. Thank you for that.
Maybe not 20. Maybe 10, 12, But
now,
but
20 years ago, Bart, I was still playing church ball, filling it up against Doc MBA.
I love that. Doc MBA loves it when he gets just buckets on his head on the Shore Midnight Show. But Auburn, look, there's not that big of a gap, John. I mean, there's not. Auburn's been more flashy. But Auburn also almost lost at Georgia. Auburn almost lost at South Carolina. Could have lost both those games now. So at times they weren't dominating last night. They were dominating for 3 or 4 possessions. But LSU hung around. So I've been elevating Auburn to a very high level. Guys, I still think Florida's as good as anybody in the league. I mean, that's just me. And now they got this thing behind them. If I had to rank it right now, I'd put Florida. I would go. I mean, I think Auburn, Florida, and Alabama. With Kentucky, with Kentucky just maybe right behind them. These are the top 4 of the top 6, 7 teams in the country, guys. And you're not even talking about Tennessee. You're not talking about Ole Miss. You're not talking about a Mississippi State who nobody wants to see, or Ole Miss, Chris Spirit or Chris Jans in a West Coast bracket as a 5 seed or 6 seed. Missouri, A&M. What are we doing here? Like, we really need to be paying attention to how good this league is.
Well, we got to pay attention to this, too. Just looking at the Auburn roster, we got in a conversation about this the other day. Janai Broome is a transfer from Morehead State. Denver Jones is from FIU. Chaney Johnson is from Alabama Huntsville. They have all been players. Proves, Bart, that, man, there's some really good talent in the mid-majors and D2, right?
Oh, absolutely there is. I mean, it's called leveling up now, and you see it all over the place. I mean, it's that's what's so difficult is like if you're at South Alabama or Troy, or a Sun Belt team, or like my guy, he talks about this on our show, Grant Leonard, the coach at Queens in Charlotte in the A-Sun, how, I'm going to coach my kids to be the best they can be and build this program, but now it's for this year. And that's it. Because, you can't really blame a kid to go get resources the way basketball is. And the money's bigger in basketball because there's less people, there's less guys, right? So you're going to see so much of this. But I think what Bruce has done, and I also think what Nate Oates has done extremely, extremely well, is Auburn and Alabama are in any room they want to be in the country, okay? Mississippi State and Ole Miss are not that way. So from that standpoint, I'm just taking those 4 teams, right? Auburn has done an excellent job of meshing the high school talent with the portal talent. But the high school talent that Alabama and Auburn is bringing in, other than maybe Josh Hubbard at State, the high school talent is not like the Johnson kid at Texas or the Fears kid at Oklahoma. There's so many different. Auburn is always getting one of those or 2 of those. Alabama, especially at the point guard position. Alabama's got 2 of those guys this year. One of them who signed at Auburn, right? Is he a portal guy? Is he? So it's like it's about connections. It's about guys on the street steering guys your way. That's how this game is working now. It goes all the way to the AAU programs. It goes all the way to the prep scene. And it's a machine. And right now, we may have the 2 best overall coaches from a X&O portal, getting kids to play hard and understand about the program, coaches in America in Nate Oates and Bruce Pearl.
That's special.
I like it.
Bart, I think you answered the first part of my question when you talked about Florida and talked about Alabama and Auburn and whatnot. But on the other end, we're about to the midway point of the regular season. What team really hadn't lived up to your expectations, maybe hadn't delivered like you thought they would to this point?
Calipari is delivering exactly how I thought he would, and we'll just leave it at that. He is who I thought he was. Secondly, Tennessee. I mean, it's the same thing over and over and over and over again, man. Like these Rick Barnes teams that if they can't out physical you and their best player ain't the best guy to go get buckets, they're going to struggle, especially on the road. They're a 500 team in the SEC to me. Tennessee is, because I think as they stop being talked about, I think you'll see them drop games on the road. I think that league's this tough. Missouri has been the surprise team to me. I think Dennis Gates is a year ahead. Charlton Young, what they're doing is crazy. But I mean, I guess Oklahoma a little bit. I think Porter Moser's such a great coach, and then coming to this league, they've had some bad bounces here and there. The one team I'm not disappointed in, but that should be better in the standings than they are, is Georgia. That game at Arkansas, they should not have lost the way that they lost that game. Yes. And then they lost another one recently that they shouldn't have lost as well. I can't remember which one that was, but I think Mike White's team is going to be better than and continue. I think Georgia, I think Vandy, I think A&M, Missouri, those are tournament teams, guys. And that's not even counting State and Ole Miss. So that right there is 6. And then you talk about Auburn, Florida, Kentucky, Tennessee. That's 11 teams.
Well, Bart, let's talk about your game tonight in Mobile, ULM and South Alabama. South Alabama's been riding high in the league, but they lost to ULM. ULM was 4-17, and they beat South Alabama. I watched the end of that game. What was that all about? Leading into tonight, especially.
I watched it, Barry. I watched the whole thing because I love being able to scout. That you never get to scout the team the game before, right? That never happens. And that's like the easiest team. You can watch like 10, 15 minutes. But then I got to watch it, and I thought it was going to be a blowout. And South was never in the game.
No, they
other than the first 5 minutes. I mean, ULM just flat out balled out. ULM made 11 threes. And I think
hit every free throw, I think.
they did. And they shot a lot. I don't remember how many it was they shot, but I'll tell you where South really they got killed on the boards. I mean, they got out rebounded 44-35.
Well, they run that zone. It's hard to rebound out of that zone, right?
Well, it's not, because here's the thing. For them, it hasn't been hard to rebound out of it until they got to conference play. And because that is how South was getting so many of their points, Barry, early in the season, is they were turning people over and double teaming when the ball went in the corners, but they were rebounding at an extremely high level and getting out at running, because a lot of those 3-point shots against the zone, you can get out and run, and because there's such long rebounds. I think one thing that South has continued to do well, they only turned the ball over 6 times the other night.
Oh, wow.
But
they average 9 turnovers a game.
Right, but they're
top
shooting
5 in the country.
They're shooting. So here's the thing about it: when Miles Corey, they've kind of figured him out that he does not go left hardly at all, and that's one of the reasons he was in the NIA for the time that he was in there. When that scout got figured out, a lot of the baskets at the rim for South were taken away. You take away that, you take away the transition, and the fact that South hadn't been shooting the ball that well, and they shot 43s on the road the other night. They only shoot shots other than Dunning. They're like Alabama. They're only going to shoot threes and layups. That's it. They're not going to shoot any in between. They're not going to give you the shot fake, one dribble to the elbow like John Longshore gets the elbow up on that forehead
Bart,
and just elevates over somebody.
We appreciate the time. We admire the T-shirt.
Yes.
Good broadcast tonight.
Hey, I do need to ask you this. I actually fell asleep, Bart. I got the text. How did the Baylor BYU game finish? Because I fell asleep.
Overtime, I texted John Barry, and it was like I saw that one coming about 9 minutes to go in the game. I said, "You got to turn this on, bro." And I sat there and watched it. And BYU, I'm pretty sure ended up winning by like 2 or 3. I don't even remember who won because the game was so good. If that makes sense. But guys, thank y'all. I always love
sure thing.
You.
Thank you.
And you got to stay beast mode. Beast mode always.
You love it.
Matthew 16:24.
Love you, man. Take care.
We'll see you next week. Bart Heisch, our resident college basketball insider, as we broadcast here from the Montgomery Regional Airport, getting the better the more you use it. Barry, a lot of folks coming by. Saw some people. They gave us the thumbs up. Yeah. Hey, you enjoy the Bart interview? Okay, thumbs up. Yeah, exactly.
There you go.
Yeah, all good.
Was that a thumb he was giving? I don't know.
So.
I don't know.
Remember Tuberville?
I just see one thing.
Didn't Tuberville give us the thumb? Thumb game? Yeah.
We'll take a break. Coming back, wrapping it up from the Montgomery Regional Airport. Longshore and McKnight, presented by Bud Light.
Don't miss your chance to win big at Victoryland Casino. Play the latest, hottest, most exciting games around with fun bonuses and big jackpots. Don't miss out on your free play. Stop by Player Rewards today and check out this month's exciting free play promotions. Come see why our players keep coming back. You'll have more fun at Victoryland Casino, where you can be a winner too. Victoryland Casino, located off I-85 exit 22, Shorter, Alabama. Must be 21 or older.
Local banking expertise, the newest innovations and technology, personal attention, genuine hospitality. It's all just part of the Riverbank and Trust difference. They invite you to experience it for yourself. Welcome to banking above and beyond at Riverbank and Trust. Locations throughout the river region, locations throughout the state of Alabama. Riverbank and Trust.
Okay, here we are back at it. As Barry mentioned, a couple of minutes to the top of the hour. Tomorrow we're at Stivers Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Prattville, where Price sells cars. Looking forward to being up there with our good friends at Stivers, and invite you to come by and see all the great deals they've got going on. And Barry, that inventory, they are, they've got them up on like little ramps and little like a display. I mean, they jump them over the curb. They put them in the median. They'll use any space available to put a vehicle because they got so many.
Yes. Nobody stocks more and nobody sells more. It's great to be able to head back to Prattville tomorrow, the preferred community, to be able to preview the weekend. And then the next week, I'm going to be on the road a lot. Yeah. We are all about the NFL championship game.
Yes. Can you not call it the Super Bowl?
I just want to have it on tape, on video.
Big game.
Whenever
59.
the lawsuit comes,
Big
that I
game
can say,
59.
see, I called it now.
Yeah.
It'd be throw John under the bus.
Big game 59. How about that?
Yeah. Well, how about this? One just for Krista Bammer.
Yeah.
I feel like
Okay.
you were asking Bart Heisch about what team has underperformed. I think we've underperformed in Chris's eyes with the wheel. We have 2 left. We're not going to be able to get 2.
Yeah.
But Chris's favorite facet of the program, we can at least get 1 more hit.
1 more spin. Gern, what do you say? Let's spin it 1 more time. And if we play our cards right, we maybe can get them both in. Who knows as it spins around? 2 left on the Victorland 777 topic wheel. It is going to land on SEC hoops. And Barry, on Saturday, we have got a full card beginning at 11 a.m. on ESPN.
It's what I love. We're getting, by the way, Saturday is, we're into February.
Yep.
At that point. By the way, that also helps out at Stivers. Chrysler Dodge
Yeah, it
Jeep
does.
end of the month. But yeah, we're getting into the final month of the regular season. On Saturday, number 1 Auburn at number 23 Ole Miss, 1 o'clock on ESPN. Alabama, number 4, hosting the Georgia Bulldogs, who's having a decent year. That's on ESPN2 at 3 on Saturday. Best game of the day will likely be in Knoxville. Number 5 Florida at number 8 Tennessee. Volunteers are in a bit of a free fall lately. Number 20 Mizzou at number 14 Mississippi State. Texas at LSU. The Vanderbilt Commodores 16-4.
Yes, sir. Show your gold.
They are in Norman Saturday to take on Oklahoma, 2:30 in the afternoon. Number 13 Texas A&M at South Carolina. Arkansas at number 12 Kentucky. You think they're going to be ready for Coach Cal to come back? Or what?
Boy. Yeah, a night game, too. They'll be drinking bourbon all afternoon.
Yep.
Getting ready for Cal's return. All right, 1 more spin.
All right,
I think we can squeeze 1 more in. Chris, you ready? You just got to spin it just to say you got to spin it. Way too early. Oh, go ahead and stop spinning yet. Actually, we talked about this yesterday. We talked about the poll, the bracket, and they had Alabama as a 5 seed. This Bill Connolly of ESPN hosting Boise.
One of 4 SEC teams that he has got projected in next year's college football playoff from the SEC. Alabama, LSU, Georgia, Texas. Is Alabama going to be one of the 4 best teams?
I don't know.
And where is Tennessee in that next year?
No.
Well,
All right, before we wrap up, Barry, what's going on with the Trojans? I know you got some big hoops action this weekend.
Yep, tonight. Georgia Southern at Trojan Arena, 6 o'clock. The halftime paper airplane toss presented by the Montgomery Regional Airport. Somebody's going to stick a paper airplane in the back of my head while I'm doing the game. Closest
put a pencil in your hair, Barry.
Closest airplane will win the prize, which is free travel from the Montgomery Regional Airport. Next week, I say I'm going to be traveling. We're going to be flying out of the Montgomery Regional Airport, the official airport of Troy Athletics. You can fly above.
Sure.
At Montgomery Regional Airport.
Easy.
Really looking forward.
Yep, going to be a lot of fun. Looking forward to it as well. Tomorrow, Ralph Michaels, Wager Talking the Gold Sheet, will join us. Going to break down some of the prop action for the big game 59. A lot of other great conversation as well. And we look forward to you being a part of it. For all of our friends here at the Montgomery Regional Airport, they invite you to check them out at flymgm.com. Getting better the more you use it.
He's John Longshore. I'm Barry McKnight. In association with Yellowhammer News, it's Longshore and McKnight, presented by Bud Light.